February 9th, 2023 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. Roll call, please. Here?
Here.
Here.
Are there any conflict of interest statements?
Nothing.
None.
Okay. Number 4, approval of the minutes of the meeting of February 9th, 2023.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for the February 9th meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Number 5, bid openings. I see none. Number 6, matters from other department heads or their representatives. Don't see any. Moving on to correspondence. Letter A, correspondence received from Dean Button, Capital Improvements Board, requesting $60,000 of CIB funding to be allocated for general engineering services with Nees Engineering to perform various tasks and assignments for the engineering department, submitted for approval.
Good morning to the board.
Good morning.
Yes, as stated, Chris Moore is here from Nees Engineering. If there are any questions I can't answer, this is a general services agreement with Nees Engineering. We do this pretty much annually. There are certain skills that my department doesn't have that Nees Engineering does, and so we rely on them to help us with some GIS work, the French drains, those sorts of things. And so the CIB met on Monday night, and they have approved the funding allocation. So I'd ask for your approval of both the agreement and the funding allocation.
Okay, and I will point out they were both signed by the controller and the mayor.
Okay,
Yeah, I know what's going on.
I will make a motion that we approve Dean Button's request.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter B, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $50,000 of CIB funding to be allocated for general engineering services with advanced engineering services to perform on-call geotechnical services, submitted for approval.
Yeah, so this is both the agreement and the funding allocation. Monday night, the Capital Improvements Board has authorized the funding allocation. Like Nees Engineering, Advanced Engineering Services is a Hammond business. They're located at the old Comcast building, 169th. They do extraordinarily good geotechnical services work, and they're the only geotechnical services firm in Hammond, so we're happy to have them here. They do soil testing, coring, borings of things for us on an on-call basis. So I would ask for your approval of both the agreement and the funding allocation.
Okay, and it was also signed by the mayor and the controller?
Okay, so I will make a motion that we approve the funding allocations for both, or for the CIB funding allocations for the engineering department, sorry.
And the contract.
And contract.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Letter C, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $98,243.56 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Snyder Avenue Storm Sewer, change order number 3, balancing change order with Gary Up Construction and corresponding change order, submitted for approval. Change order, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, so as you recall, Schneider Avenue was a storm sewer project that we installed in 2022 that alleviated some significant basement flooding with combined sewage. And so we're grateful to have that in there. The project took on much expanded role. We did additional street paving. There was a service that started to leak going to Purdue, so that's in here. So there was a number of items, some additional compacted aggregate that was included, and for the 98,000. So I'd ask for your approval of the change order, and the funding allocation was approved at the Capital Improvements Board meeting on Monday.
Yes, it was also signed by the mayor and the controller.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the change order presented in our packet.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Letter D, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $48,795.60 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Kennedy Avenue reconstruction, change order number 1, spare conduit with Milestone Contractors North, and corresponding agreement, submitted for approval.
Yeah, so you have in front of you change order number 1 for your consideration, as well as the funding allocation that was approved Monday night by the Capital Improvements Board. The technical division of the Hammond Police Department has asked, and quite honestly, it's probably something that I should consider more frequently when we're going to large projects like Kennedy Avenue, is to install a conduit for future use for cameras, fiber optic, that sort of thing. It's really kind of been the chief of staff's push to, or challenge to me, to make sure that these arterials have spare conduit. And so this is an extra to the original contract that wasn't originally contemplated. So we're happy to put this in. It's for the $49,000, and change order has been assigned by both the engineer and the contractor, and the funding allocation was considered and approved Monday night by the Capital Improvements Board. I'd ask for your approval.
Okay, also signed by the controller and the mayor.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the change order as presented.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Letter E, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $143,500 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Summer Street resurfacing, Indianapolis Boulevard to 165th Street, for design and construction with First Group Engineering and corresponding agreement submitted for approval.
So this is an agreement with First Group Engineering for both design engineering services and construction engineering services for a future community crossings matching grant. We pay 100% of the design and construction engineering services, and then we're eligible for a 50-50 match for a grant award of up to $1 million. So it's basically a $2 million, would be a $2 million project. But this is to do design as well as observation during construction when that happens, right? So it's sort of far out. We've been doing this on community crossings projects for quite some time, where we combine the two with First Group. So it's not unusual that we do it this way. So we're, as you know, Summer Street between the Boulevard and 165th is in pretty poor condition, right? I mean, we get challenged on that a lot. So this is basically fixing the level roadway and then resurfacing it. A little bit of utility work. I'd ask for your approval of both the agreement and the funding allocation that was approved by the Capital Improvements Board on Monday.
Okay, and again, I'll point out that it was signed by the city controller and the mayor.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the funding allocation and the agreement for Summer Street resurfacing.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Letter F, report of contract final inspection and recommendation for acceptance with change order number 035 for the contract R-38191 submitted for approval.
This is Chicago Street Phase 1, right? So this is the segment, what we call Chicago Street. So it's Goslin from the state line to Sheffield, Sheffield from Goslin to Marble Street. That was Phase 1, even though it was the third phase that we worked on. So we're asking for your approval of the acceptance of that completed work. It's a requirement by the Indiana Department of Transportation, as well as change order number 35, which is simply an extension of time, which is sort of a contract requirement, sort of cleans up the books. We're real happy with the contractor that worked on the job. The job took longer than we anticipated, but we're real happy with the work that they did, and the engineer, who I believe Mr. Tucker, John Tucker from American Structure Point, is in the audience today. So I'd ask for your approval of the acceptance, final inspection and recommendation for acceptance, as well as change order number 35.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the acceptance and change order number 35 as presented.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Letter G, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $49,815.68 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Chicago Street Phase 2 supplemental construction engineering, American Structure Point, and corresponding amendment number 1 submitted for approval.
So in this case, I would ask that you conditionally approve the funding allocation. There's a snafu. So the agreement with American Structure Point for this work is the supplemental, the extra work that they had as a result of the extension of time that the project took. This is Chicago Street Phase 2. So there was more time. Unfortunately, there's currently no funding available to match from NDOT or NERC, although we're hopeful next Tuesday that we may get a match, and that'll reduce our exposure to this to 20%, because I'm told that there's funding available. So I'm asking that you approve the agreement and conditionally approve the funding allocation, because we do not have that back it was approved Monday night, but the official document didn't make it to the Capital Improvements Board, so I don't have the mayor's signature at this point. And so I would condition it upon mayor's approval.
Okay.
Got all that?
Yep. I will make a motion that we approve the agreement and conditionally approve the funding allocation according to mayor's.
Subject to the
Approval.
mayor's signature, yep.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye. Or you make a motion, sorry.
Yeah, I made the motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Letter H, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $6,367.99 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Chicago Street Phase 2 supplemental construction engineering, American Structure Point, and corresponding amendment number 1 submitted for approval.
So I didn't catch the error, so my apologies to the secretary of the board. This is Chicago Street Phase 1.
Okay.
So the agenda item is slightly off. It sort of matched the previous one. Chicago Street Phase 1 had 80/20 money still available. Chicago Street Phase 1 had extended their time in terms of the completion date, right? We went long, and when things go long, the engineer has more expense because they're out there longer, right? But this is eligible for 80/20 match, so our portion, the 6367.99, is our 20% match, and that was considered by and approved by the Capital Improvements Board on Monday night, but it's still subject to the mayor's approval. So I would ask that you approve the agreement with American Structure Point for addendum number 1, Chicago Street Phase 1, and condition the
Funding allocation.
funding allocation subject to the mayor's approval.
Okay.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the agreement from Structure Point and then conditionally approve the funding allocation, subject to mayor's approval.
Perfect, thank you.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Letter I, correspondence received from Assistant Chief of Police requesting approval for a disciplinary action.
I will make a motion that we approve the Assistant Chief's request.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter J, correspondence received submitted for the resignation of probationary firefighter paramedic Michael, what's the, Kuros, effective January 27, 2023.
I will make a motion that we approve the resignation.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter K, correspondence received from Ron Novak requesting approval for the proposed license agreement renewal and remediation management service company and its representative, Anta Group to perform additional environmental sampling at the property located at Roosevelt Street and White Oak Avenue.
This is a morning. This is a continuation of an agreement that has gone on for over 20 years. There was a pipeline leak in that particular area, and they're required to monitor that area indefinitely. There are 7 pipelines that cross the river at that location. This is on the south side of the river, and it was opened up and found that those pipelines are hundreds of years old, and they're monitoring it for any future, for existing problems and in the future. They've always given us reports. They've been very cooperative with us, and I recommend the board approve the extension of this renewal.
Thank you.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the extension of the proposal.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Correspondence, letter L, correspondence received requesting a rental registration hearing.
Okay, for February
Make a
23rd.
motion to set it for
Okay,
that.
I will make a motion that we set the hearing for February 23rd, 2023.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Number 8, matters from board members. Either one of you have anything?
No.
Number 9, other new business, letter A, financial consultant annual service agreement received from Megan Flores, city controller, submitted for approval.
I will make a motion that we approve the agreement received from Megan Flores.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter B, order to release bond for 3407 Kenwood Street, submitted for approval.
Good morning, Mr. President and Board.
Morning.
This is different than our usual order to rescind, in just that the board never issued a demolition order, but they still posted a bond, and we had a rehab. The rehab has been completed successfully, and this just simply releases, this just is simply an order that will allow the Controller's Office to release the $10,000 bond. I'd request its approval as presented.
Thank you.
Okay, I will make a motion that we approve the order to release the bond for 3407 Kenwood.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Letter C, garage sale permit, submitted for approval.
Oh, I wonder if this garage sale is going to have some holla there.
We can only hope.
Yeah. I will make a
can
motion
only
that we
hope.
approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That was good, that was good. Number 10, old business. Letter A, status for 7217 Harrison.
Anything?
On Holla? No,
Holla?
on the garage sale permit, make a motion
Garage
on that,
sale.
sorry. Yeah.
I will make a motion.
We're all over the place right now. Yeah. Perfect, perfect.
So what are we doing with this?
Making a motion on the rental.
I already did.
Oh, sorry, then we're good.
I already made the motion.
Okay, I know, then we're good. Excuse me. Yeah. Number 10, old business. We got to move on before I lose it here. Status 7217 Harrison.
Mr. President and Board, Mr. Luter, who is present here, informed me that he would request a status for 60 days on this due to continued progress on the rehab.
That puts us like April 6th or 13th?
Yeah, 13.
April
April
13th
13th?
sounds great.
Okay. I will make a motion that we make this, or set this for status for 60 days, which would be April 13th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter B, status for 4440 Torrance Avenue.
So the board may recall, this is Mr. Medina, who would appear by Zoom several times. He had 3 properties. We've resolved 2 of them. This is the last one. For some reason, he was being very responsive, and then all of a sudden we tailed off. I reached out to his father, who said he would contact him. I let him know this is the 3rd time he's no-showed regarding this. Mr. Luter presented updated photos where it shows that the property has been rehabbed and was at least in late 21, was pretty close to being done. We've just kind of fallen off the radar and has not called in for final inspections. So I'd like a short continuance of this. I would also request Linda notify him via both email and mail in his Florida address so that we can get him here and get this moving. And I think at the next hearing, based upon my conversation with his father, that he's going to show. So,
Okay, 2 weeks from now, I won't be here, Kev. so
okay, do you want to do
we
3?
3 weeks?
March
Sure.
from now?
Is that anything to add, Chris? Or, no? Good, okay.
So March 2nd.
Is March 2nd okay then?
Yeah, let's do it.
I will make a motion that we set this for status for March 2nd, 2023.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Letter C, status for 1806 Brown Avenue.
Okay, 1806 Brown. So status of this is that there's a demolition order. It's been bid out. There's been no contact from the owner over the last several years. It's a Mr. Farmer. I did what I usually do, which is notify NIPSCO based on my conversation with the inspections department. You know, they'll let me know it's under rehab, or go ahead and notify NIPSCO. We did that. NIPSCO terminated services, and then all of a sudden, the owner, Mr. Farmer, called NIPSCO complaining, "Why'd you turn off my electric and gas?" So, unfortunately for him, there was a fire there. We've had inspections there. They've been trying to get him to comply with their orders. We obviously have a demolition order that we requested the board affirm, which it did. We've bid the property out, and now NIPSCO's terminated. We're ready to knock the place down. However, my understanding is that it did sell on tax sale, and I believe there's a tax sale purchaser here today, Mr. Strozomski, who I'm going to allow to discuss with the board why he believes we should not knock it down, I guess, and we'll kind of have to make a decision on what to do, or set it for additional hearing. But at this point, you know, we have a demolition order. It's good for 2 years at least, and we're ready to go. So I'll let Mr. Strozomski, I'm sorry if I messed your name up, address the board.
Good afternoon. Good
morning.
My name is James Strozovsky. The property, this property on Brown was sold probably about a year and a half ago at a one-year treasure sale to a company called Pine Valley. In October of last October 27th, I got an assignment of the certificate, which then I went to perfect to get a deed. The demo hearing was, apparently, I think it was on October 27th.
That sounds right.
The same day.
That was
so-
for bid, you mean this year? That was for bids, I think. That
Yes,
for-
it was.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's like a lost in time frame there. So I do believe, I don't know who was notified of the demo hearing or demolition proceedings. I have since got an order to get a deed to the property and just waiting for Lake County to issue the deed.
So you were at the December hearing?
I think
Or
it was, I
January
think it was
hearing?
just January, yeah.
Okay.
I sent him, Chris, right? I sent Chris my certificate assignment, and as well as the order for deed.
Okay.
Now, Lake County, they could give you a deed within 30 days. Sometimes it takes 5 months. It's to their mercy.
Right.
I'm not allotted to go on the property to do an inspection or do anything. I did drive by there, I believe yesterday, and spoke with the people living there.
Is it your intention to rehab it? You wanna
Yes, yeah, I think that's a
So-
salvageable property.
I was kind of curious on where he was in the process, and it sounds like he's already, you know, I was concerned that it was just like the last tax sale, then it would have to wait another year, and then, but it sounds like he's very close to getting the deed. It usually takes 6 to 8 weeks to get the deed, is my experience there. So if you're not Pine Valley, you got it assigned from Pine
Right,
Valley. Okay, and
correct.
you perfected the deed, you have an order for deed.
We have
It's
an
been
order
turned
for
into
deed.
the auditor for.
I sent it
But if you
yesterday.
know how you have to take the order and turn it into the tax.
Right.
Have you
That's,
done that?
we just got that like about a couple days ago.
Okay, so you're planning on getting it down there?
Absolutely,
With
correct.
your payment of subsequent taxes and everything else?
Well, I think there was a little surplus there, so
Okay.
now the surplus goes into the subsequent taxes, so all the taxes
We'll get the
are.
order down with the recorder's fee, auditor's fee?
Correct.
All right, so given that, I mean, the guy's not supposed to be there. I mean, he owns the property now. And it's up to you, I guess, now that you own the property and you have the deed, or you will, that you should probably, if you want to, contact NIPSCO to reconnect. Because they just disconnected it on our order.
Yeah, I think that's what they mentioned, and I said, I have no idea about that. I believe the family's poor, so this action, and even with my action, once I get the deed and do a writ of assistance to the property, those people will most likely be homeless. I mean, it's just I don't like doing that to people, but I guess you are going to do it to them as well. Our intention is to get that property fixed up as soon as we could legally get onto the property.
So I guess what I would say is that if the new owner, Mr. Strozovsky, would like to pay the demolition inspection.
I did
He
yesterday.
Right, do we have that, Nick? He's paid the demo inspection, Chris?
Yes, he has paid the debt.
Okay, so what I would do is make sure, two things. One, make sure Kiki knows that the demolition's on hold, Linda. And then we'll set this over for status for, why don't we do 30 days or 45 days?
45, yeah, to see if the county gives us the deed.
Won't it take him longer than that to evict the family that's in there?
Well, I want to make sure he has his deed.
Oh, I got
If he doesn't
you,
have his
okay.
deed in 45 days, I'm going to be concerned that.
Okay, I
no offense,
understand.
That he's not following through.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, and that'll kind of keep us moving.
So you want to do 30 days, you said?
We could do 45.
45.
He's gonna have to get the deed down, or get the order down there. and
23rd,
get-
March 23rd?
I mean,
March
usually-
23rd,
sometimes
okay?
I do 6 months, yeah.
March 23rd?
How does March 23rd sound to you?
I think I should be in town.
Why don't we go March 30th, does that give
March
you?
30th?
Yeah, I
March
probably should
30th.
be plenty.
Okay.
Okay, I will make a motion that we set this for status for March 30th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hopefully it gets rehab nice.
Yeah.
That's what we always hope, so.
Thank you.
Okay, number 11, rental registration hearings. I see none. Number 12, the meeting's open to the public. Would anybody like to speak?
I see that we've got one of our friends here. You want to talk about Lyndon real quick, since you're here? Because I think the last couple times,
Yeah.
he hasn't shown.
Well, he came, but he left the one day. He came
Yeah.
just and kind of showed that smile and then walked out the door. Yeah.
So, let's see, whose district is that? Rich, is that you? Yes, sir. All right, good.
Okay. Can you give the address we're talking about again?
4905 Linden.
Yep.
All right. So, last time we were here, we saw some siding photos, we saw
Yeah.
some repair on the second floor.
Everything, all the outside complete except for the 2 decks, and waiting just on the electrician. Electrician's been paid about a year. I done paid him about a year. The plumber ain't started till the electrician get done because the electrician's in the way. So that's all I'm waiting on, electrician.
Mr. Taylor did renew his contractor's license, but he's here today to pull the new permit for the work still ongoing, because his previous permit had expired.
So, at this point, I feel like it's now going to be an enforcement issue. Like, I don't see us knocking it down because he's doing all this work on it. So I kind of say, let's take it off the demo list and just let inspections deal with him on their own. If there's a violation, you'll cite him, right, Rich? I mean, yeah.
I was just, they requested the board have, the building inspector do a quick walkthrough to get an assessment of the interior condition. At that point, we can, submit an order to rescind and then, deal with it from there.
Well, if we send building over there, should we set a status date so they can report back to us, or what should we do? For how long? Couple weeks?
Yeah,
Couple,
like, I would say, give them at least 2 weeks instead of 2, 3 weeks.
So 3 weeks.
3 weeks, because I won't be here in 2 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks, okay.
So March 2nd?
The 30th, right? Is it? No, but second, March 2nd, yeah, you're right.
Okay,
Yeah, that's fine. They can come anytime.
No, you're coming back here, Mark.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
I will make a motion that we set 4905 Linden Avenue for status for March 2nd.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The meeting's open to the public. Would anybody else like to speak? I'm good. That's what I wanted to hear. Okay, I'll accept,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.